Welcome to Star Citizen and Alpha 3.11. With Wave 1, 3.11 is already playable on the PTU and we're looking at some new features today. We immediately noticed a new menu which has already been implemented in preparation for further functions, and it's modular. In addition to obvious changes in optics, this serves as preparation for extensions. The character creation has also been expanded and we can find new options and faces here. No big deal, but obvious some functions apart from the big features are being worked on. In addition, with the 3.11, further functions and contents such the 100 series from Origin Jumpworks and the new grenade launcher come into play, which will be taking a closer look in separate videos. The new selection menu looks cleaner, and with the selection of the spawn location we also see a preview. Especially for virtual spawn locations, we have a better overview and the idea of which ecosystem awaits us. No big deal here either, but an improvement in my opinion. We jump straight into the game and see if we can see further visual improvements. Anyone who has been to Lorville one or the other time will notice some changes very quickly. The whole thing looks livelier and more detailed, and new areas and areas that were previously only provided with standard textures have received more details. In addition, there are election posters everywhere and at every corner, which is also atmospherically accompanied by audio announcements. This is not limited to the main district, but extends to all areas and districts. One of the biggest surprises, however, is at the Fleet Manager console. Really, all ships that are currently flyable in the verse are available and can be tested. Special ships like pirate versions like the Pirate Gladius or Caterpillar are also included and are worth a closer look. So if you are thinking of buying a ship, you can now try out any ship in the verse. The selection is really huge and it's almost difficult to choose a ship. So now everyone can feel like a Legato's concierge member for a few days. But there is also an in-game purchase option that many have been waiting for. The Greycat ROC is available with the 3.11 in-game for the price of 172,000 UEC, which is a cheap offer and a good price. However, rock mining has also undergone changes and the profit margin is no longer as extremely high as it was before. The biggest innovation of 3.11 are the cargo decks, which can be found on the one hand in space and on the other hand on the station themselves. These are not only huge and clearly visible, but also not just a pure graphic extension. But more on that later when we fly around between these containers. The weapon-free zones are also revised or removed and replaced with powerful turrets. We'll pay them a visit right away, but first to the cargo decks at the station. In the future, these should also have a function in space, and merchant ships should be able to dock here and trade or unload their cargo. Even when we fly closer, we see more and more details and individual containers. The cargo decks are huge and extend several hundred meters long. These cargo facilities are available at every station and are designed slightly different. They fit harmoniously into existing structures and give station a more complete look. And the straight shape almost looks like a racetrack, which of course immediately appeals to us to try it out. However, a clumsy 600i is definitely the wrong ship for this, which is why we will come back later with something more suitable. And of course that much freight has to be protected, therefore now to the new defense satellites. These are distributed in large numbers around the stations and outside areas, and are available in different sizes. We already know the smaller ones from the claim jumper missions, which can take a few hits there and can be dangerous against medium-sized ships, especially if they appear in large numbers. The size 10 turrets are really new and definitely pose a threat to all ships currently available in the verse. A few hits are enough to induce a respawn. But there is also some innovations at the stations, which is why we get clearance to land as usual and look around on foot. We are immediately noticed that the layout of the stations has fundamentally changed. These now have 3 different zones which are separated from each other. We no longer have to cross the entire station when we are spawned, but can use the individual levels in targeted manner. In the area where we spawn, we also find the ship claim and kiosk. With the gallery there is also a separate shopping area where we also find the admin office. There is a new transport system to get to the different areas. The inner station transit should not be confused with the elevators to the hangars and pads, but only for the transfer within the station zones. The look is the same, but we only get to the station levels. And here we also see the new cargo deck, which we can also enter. The cargo deck is currently divided into 3 areas, although only one area is currently of use to us. Warehouse processing and container yard will in future be the areas where your cargo is processed, but currently we only find mostly lazy workers here. However, the area is very coherent and authentic. We are currently interested in the cargo service area. Here we can not only buy items and equipment, but also rent cargo ships and stock up everything we need for hand mining, for example. And if someone can do something with the cargo codes, I would like an overview. At the rental terminal we can borrow dedicated cargo ships and courier ships. The largest current merchant ship, however, is a freelancer. I do not assume that there will be merchant ships like a Caterpillar or something similar to land here in the future. At the logistic counter we get a multi-tool including a mining attachment and no longer have to fly to the planet and pay Tammy and Sons a visit. And here too we get some water and food for a longer excursion. And to complete our hand mining equipment, the Novikov undersuit is also available at the usual price. I find this innovation pleasing for beginners because they get everything they need for a start and the first missions directly at the station. The last area currently has no function. Here I expect repairs or ship components to be offered. And of course, we stop by the gallery in the shopping area. All shops, restaurants and bars are bundled here and we have everything in one place. We can also find the admin office here, which we currently still need to trade. Some terminals that have already been implemented do not yet have any function, but were added with the update. In the bar we find an unmotivated bartender who gives us no option to serve a drink. And why there is a warning sign hanging here as a German flag is at least suspicious. And apart from the admin office and a few unusable slot machines, there is nothing interesting in the gallery. And you might remember the cargo decks in space? There was still something we wanted to try. With a smaller ship like the Gladius here, it's really fun to fly around between the cargo decks and do nonsense. In a space fight near the station, however, the whole thing has more a tactical component and the decks then serve wonderfully as cover. And even a pirate can hide from strangers with smaller ships, or come out of the containers surprisingly. I imagine 50 small fighters suddenly attacking from the cargo containers. Here I would of course like to be on the side of the attackers and not the caterpillar pilot who spills his coffee. Incidentally, like the space station themselves, the cargo decks are not stationary but rotate slightly. In the length of the cargo decks you can clearly see this when you fly through, and the whole thing isn't as easy as it might seem. In any case, I already have the first cargo deck races in my head while waiting for a friend who has only installed a Bolon quantum drive again. Another innovation are the optimized and improved planets and moon surfaces. These look good, but I only see a difference when I have a direct comparison. The item system is really new and long-awaited. For example, it is now possible to use the ROC to transfer stones to your personal inventory. These can then be put into a Novikov suit, for example, to increase the capacity. I hope you enjoyed the video and you'll leave me a like and a subscribe there. The alpha version 3.11 brings some fundamental changes and features into the game and already makes a good impression. Also as a giveaway for an Origin 100 I currently running, for which you only have to subscribe to the channel and leave at least a comment. I hope the video was easy to understand and was able to give you an insight into the Alpha 3.11 and you had fun watching it. So I'm happy to see you again and say as always, see you in the verse.